Nice. You got to start the stream off that way, right?
Every stream should be started off that way.
Oh, boy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we doing this? Are you talking? Am I talking?
Well, it's your stream, but before we get into the introductions, since we have Brian of the Popcast on, so he made this fantastic commercial for our Buffy the Vampire Slayer t-shirt that we're doing for the month of February. We still got it up. We'll probably sell it until the end of March, just because we were a little bit late in getting it out there for all the Buffy fans. But it's this great shirt. Says "Bite Me." It's kind of funny, but it's also really cool. I'm trying to figure out how I can get one for Jude because she's going to kill me if we stop selling it and she doesn't have it. But if you go to saltynerdstore.com and check it out, it should still be there. And we're also going to be having a t-shirt for our coverage of Eureka, and that's going to be a really cool t-shirt as well. Hopefully it'll be up on the store soon.
I think, is it safe to say we're going to have a t-shirt for all of our classic sci-fi revisits?
Yes.
I think it is. Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
yes.
Global dynamics.
Oh,
global
guys.
dynamics.
We haven't done this for a few weeks, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. You've been streaming your video games.
Well, I did that once, but my life is crazy right now. We're moving and getting a new place and all this kind of stuff. So things are nuts. But Brian, welcome to the show. Matthew,
hey, what's happening?
And we're waiting for Danny the Dork Knight to log in.
Danny's probably asleep somewhere.
Danny the Dork Knight.
Yeah. So this thing came out this week, guys. This Picard show.
Picard.
What's
French
Picard.
What's French for Picard?
I think it's French anyway, right?
Yes, it's French.
Yeah, it's French. Yeah.
Picard.
It means it was actually an homage to Pike when they created the character of Picard. It was some kind of French term for Pike.
Mm-hmm.
So that the whole point was like revisiting the Pike character.
You know what? I've been a fan of Star Trek since I was a child, and I've never heard that before. The Picard and Pike that's really cool.
Cool.
You just blew my mind, man.
Oh yeah.
It's a way to start the show. He teaches a Trekkie a new thing about Star Trek. That's crazy.
Brian told me last night that he's watched the premiere of Picard season 2 50 times.
Yeah.
50 times.
Yeah. I've watched it in slow motion.
Wow.
I've watched it backwards. I've watched it every which way. Our content, relies a lot on Picard. That hopefully it does well, so we can make content we want to make. Because what happened was we started making Discovery content a couple years ago, then and slowly we're like, oh, we don't want to do this anymore. And we
also no one cares about Discovery.
No, at the time people cared about it, but we just didn't want to do it. So we started making Stargate stuff and other retro stuff, which is probably good. It'll help us break out our box. Yeah. But, oh my god, I hope Picard is a little better this season.
Yep.
Well, you want to get into it, Vader?
Yeah, we can get into it. That's really quick. Let's acknowledge some people in our chat really quick. Lunar Girl, our mod, welcome. Nice to see you. R2 the Icky, another one of our friends of the show. He's been on a couple of our streams with Alex and stuff over there. He is also a big fan of the show. We like his show over there too. Gallows the Media, welcome. Anima Confusa, it's awesome to see you. There's some guy named Popcast Unleashed in there. What's up, man? How are you?
That's me. That's me.
I know it's you, man. So yeah, thank you guys for everybody for showing up. Novus Tullius, message retracted. Okay, that's really good. Welcome. I don't know if you're a spam bot or not, but that's cool. Welcome anyway.
We got Sire Quinox and Richard Lawson in the chat as well.
Dude, we're in double digits already. We haven't even started. That's crazy.
People are expecting us to hate on Picard.
Oh, guys, I don't know if we're going to or not.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I don't know if you're gonna get what you want then.
Yeah. It's wild.
So I had to remind Matt Vader. So when we first started the Salty Nerd podcast, this was around the time that season 1 of Picard was premiering, and we would talk about it week to week.
Mm-hmm.
And the first episode of season 1, Vader and I were quite optimistic. We said like, oh, it was pretty good. We hope that it continues to be good.
Well, I was intrigued. I didn't think it was that great, but I was intrigued enough to where I wanted to see the next episode.
Yeah, so we didn't have a lot of salt for the first episode of season 1, but by the end of season 1,
it was. If you go back and you watch our episodes or what the few shows that we have on that, you can watch us just.
Or listen to us,
I guess you can literally see us with your ears as we as we go from optimistic to just pure and utter hatred.
Yeah, I think it was around.
It's wild.
I think it was around the time Icheb lost an eyeball where we were all kind of like, "Yeah, this show sucks."
The salt mines were abundant.
Oh man, I mean, it was bad. But you know what? That doesn't exist anymore as far as the show kind of goes, right?
I mean, it exists.
I feel like they're
just choosing to ignore it.
They just completely are ignoring season 1 as far as this thing goes. So let's get into it, Matthew. Go ahead.
That's a good thing.
Start us up.
Well, okay. So first of all, we have a different showrunner this season. The first season was the Pulitzer Prize winning author and novelist Michael Chabon, who was kind of in charge of the story and the writing and the production and all that stuff. And he pretty much crapped the bed. And so Akiva Goldsman, the Oscar-winning screenwriter of Batman and Robin, stepped in to take over. and so like this is his baby now. He's the one in charge of it. And the second season starts off by pretty much completely retconning the first season, or at least like trying to fix the issues that the first season created with the fans. So we got Picard, who is never mentioned that he's like now Synth Picard, back at his winery. And we see that him and Laris are kind of like, are like, will they, won't they, in terms of like relationships. Picard is also now the head of Starfleet Academy somehow. And Jerry Ryan has taken over Rios's ship, and she's still one of the Rangers out there fighting pirates, although why you have pirates in a society that has replication technology is beyond me. Raffi is also back in Starfleet, and she doesn't look like she's a drug addict anymore, and they kind of glossed over her quick relationship with Seven of Nine. Soji, Data's daughter, is now a diplomat to I guess, organics from the synthetic race.
Did you notice where her scene was at?
Was it the Flower Planet?
No. When they brought her in, they were introducing themselves and having dinner with the Deltans, Lieutenant Idea's race and planet from the motion picture.
Oh yeah, the bald chicks.
The bald horny people. And I'm pretty sure this is like the first time we've seen anything from them since the motion picture.
Yeah, I think that there was an homage to them in Enterprise. I think that we saw like a one-off character, whatever, walk by, but no, we haven't seen them in a long time.
Well, Rios is now in charge. He is now captaining a Starfleet vessel called the Stargazer, which was Jean-Luc Picard's first command, although it's not the same ship. It's the same in the namesake.
Rocking a cigar, which is awesome.
Yeah, I liked his little cigar thing. Dr. Girardi was acquitted of the murder of her former boyfriend because she was under the undue influence of a bad actor.
Cringe. That was cringe.
A bad actor.
And no word on Narek or whatever the hell happened to him. He was the evil Romulan from the first season that was kind of trying to get Soji to do evil Romulan stuff, I guess. We saw the return of Guinan, fat old Whoopi Goldberg, and they actually took a moment to explain why she looks fat and old.
I know they did, right?
Yeah. I didn't think that was necessary.
And finally we saw the return of Q, and it was nice to see how he's like, oh, you're old, so he snapped his fingers and he aged.
I love that.
So, are we going to skip straight to the end, or are we going to like work our way through it? What are we doing?
It's up to you, man. I'm just going over what I remember from the episode.
To be honest, the
yeah.
contrast between Guinan and Q's returns, like I loved the way Q came back and explained his age, and I hated the way Guinan came back and explained her age.
Yeah, exactly. So this thing is they're doing everything in the handbook to try and get us to have some buy-in to this show as old fans. They are really breaking it out. I mean, they're pulling out old ship names. They're going back to Starfleet Academy. They're it's like I'm stammering right now. But the fan service. This should be just called Episode 1 Picard fan service. It should be the name of the episode,
or it should be called Fixing the Problems from Season 1.
Yeah, but you know what? When it comes to the fan service stuff, especially with this show, I don't hate it.
No,
Okay,
do
I don't hate it at all. And honestly, I kind of feel like after that abortion of a season 1, that they kind of owed us some fun fan service as fans of this series and this IP, because God damn it, I love Star Trek, and I want Star Trek to be at least watchable, because season 1 is not watchable. It is absolute, I'm going to say it, garbage. It's garbage.
With a French accent?
With a French accent.
Garbage.
That's the worst type of garbage.
It's the worst type of garbage. French garbage is the worst. And
burning garbage.
Burning garbage. Yes. But I needed some fan service, I think, to make me have a little bit of buy-in into this. And I got it. And they gave us a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I can't sit here and say that's a complete good thing, because we don't want to have a series that's an entirely nothing but fan service. I want a good story. I want to see what's going to happen here, you know. But if they have to bring the Borg back and we do some time travel stuff with some of our favorite characters, you know what? If we look at it as an apology season, then I think I'm going to be okay. Or they might just go down this road and I'm going to hate them more than anything at the end of the season. And I really hope that's not what's going to happen. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Brian.
man. I mean, you're right. But even as fan service, by the end of that episode, I was totally hooked. With the whole Borg Queen and the way the new ship looked, and the tight beam, the transport beam, like they couldn't get through the shield, so they basically tightened the transport
do you want
beam.
to explain what the big conflict is in this episode, Brian?
Well, I don't really know yet. I'll tell you this.
Well, so like there's like this weird anomaly on the edge of space where this
Right.
huge Borg ship shows up.
Right.
We get a whole new Borg Queen, which appears on the Stargazer, and
we've never
apparently
seen that kind of Borg ship either.
Yeah, and
Everything's
the new Borg Queen was like super creepy.
Right.
But basically, they send out this signal to Starfleet to let them know that they're like invoking Article 15, which is incorporation in the Starfleet, and that they'll only talk with Picard. And so they pull Picard out of retirement, send him to this anomaly, and then they discover that it's this ginormous new Borg ship, and the Borg beam on board, and everyone starts freaking the fuck out.
Right, which is awesome.
As they should.
I gotta tell you though, when they sat down with Picard and they showed him the audio signal where it's like, "Help us, Picard." As someone who was not assimilated by the Borg, I would instantly know that was the Borg.
Yeah.
It sounded like the Borg to me right away. When they did like the multiple layers, I'm like, oh well, it's Borg. I mean, I know they were
point out that this episode takes place a year and a half after the events of season 1.
Yes. Yeah. Also, the showrunner for this season is Terry Matalas, and that's very important because Terry Matalas worked on, his claim to fame is 12 Monkeys. So time travel shenanigans.
I love the 12 Monkeys TV show. That show was great.
He was also PA on Terra Nova and Star Trek Enterprise. And the episodes of Star Trek Enterprise he did was These Are the Voyages, Terra Prime, Demons, In the Mirror Darkly 1 and 2. So are you catching my drift here? The guy did all the time travel mirror universe episodes of Star Trek Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
He did Terra Prime, which is us going back in time to dinosaur times, and he did 12 Monkeys.
Yeah,
the guy is
all good stuff.
All good stuff and all time travel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is obviously pretty big on time travel, considering his IMDb is very time travel.
Well,
now, he has other stuff that's not time travel, but
also the 12 Monkeys time travel. It's probably one of the only incidents or examples I can think of where time travel was done right and consistently done right.
Right.
Like like when you watch 12 Monkeys, all the time travel in that show makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, it's really well done. He was also a writer and producer on MacGyver and stuff like that too. But his claim to fame, his writing directing credits were 12 Monkeys, and he started in the business in Enterprise. And I love how he started with Voyager and Enterprise, but his Enterprise as an actual like PA. He started as a PA on Enterprise, doing all the mirror universe time travel stuff. So the guy knows his stuff. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, if the show is about this, then the guy knows how to make content about this." So,
did you say he was involved with the mirror universe stuff in Discovery as well? Is that what you said, or
no? He said Voyager and Enterprise.
Voyager, okay.
Yeah. He started in the business as an AP on Voyager, but his first breakout job was as a PA on Enterprise.
I mean, to be honest with you, most of the mirror universe episodes that we get in any of the series are always some of my favorite episodes. Even in Discovery, the mirror universe episodes and arcs in that, they're actually kind of fun.
Yeah, even though they're sometimes sort of cheesy. Yeah.
So I mean, obviously we're going into a dystopian future at the end here, but I don't think it's the mirror universe. It's just I
don't think so either. I think it's a alternate universe, as in like the timeline was changed.
It's a Q-niverse, right?
I don't think Q actually made this unit. I think that's I think Q is being gaslit a little bit. I think that's a straw man.
Yeah,
I don't think Q created the universes yet.
Yeah, I think Q showed up because he wants to see how Picard's going to handle this interesting situation he's in.
Right. I think Q showed up because
the last line of the episode was "the trial never ends." Right.
Yep. So I think Q showed up because of this, and he's being blamed for it. For obvious reasons. But I don't think Q is actually the one that shifted everyone into this alternate timeline. I think he showed up because of the shift, because it's such a massive shift, and he's now going to once again use this crisis to test Picard.
Yeah,
like we've seen before. So, anyways, a couple cool things though is I loved the way they got the Queen onto the ship by tightening the transport beam.
Yeah.
That was very Star Trek to me. Like
very Star Trek.
They're gonna tighten the transport beam to the point where it's basically an energy weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. My brother didn't like the fact that the Borg ship didn't look like a cube or a spear, and that it was something else.
That didn't bother me.
But I sort of like that because I think they want to make it very clear that these are not the regular Borg, right? These are not the Borg that we're used to dealing with.
2.0.
This is Borg 2.0. Whether they were sitting in a pocket universe or from another time or whatever, it's not the same Borg, and they have different capabilities, which is very important.
I did kind of laugh at the start of this episode because once again, Starfleet is put on alert or whatever because of a spatial anomaly has appeared. That seems to be a New Trek's go-to kind of kind of thing. It's like, oh my god, there's a big giant spatial anomaly with some information or something coming out of it. What do we do? Alert the fleet. Blah blah blah.
Well, to be
It's
fair,
anomaly.
Can I ask
That's
you guys a question?
That's a lot of Star Trek, though.
Yeah, it is.
Like when the anomaly first showed up in this episode, there was a Starfleet ship there that got kind of like knocked away by it when it opened, and they were the ones who kind of radioed in that it was happening to Starfleet.
Yeah.
What happened to that ship? Because next thing I know, the Stargazer is the one that's called in to like check it out, but we never hear anything about that. The initial ship that got hit by it.
I don't think anything happened to it. I think they sent a message in and hung out until the Stargazer showed up. I don't know.
Yeah,
or maybe it's still in the area.
Yeah, it's probably just in the area. The fact that I love that when they discovered this, that it was a Borg. So when it was just a new species that they haven't interacted with and they want to talk to Picard, whatever. It was the Stargazer and Picard and Seven's ship because she was so fascinated by the signal. But when they discovered that it was Borg, everyone shows up. Like there was ship after ship after ship. Yeah, the entire fleet. Like everyone showed up.
Yeah. That is a terrible idea.
It's a terrible idea, but it's an appropriate response, right? Think about like you've been terrorized by the Borg for like 150 years. Yeah, the Borg's here. We're gonna send everyone just to make sure. Now it was terrible in the sense that I guess she was assimilating the entire fleet, but I don't think they could have read into that. I like that. I like that little tidbit.
Yes, I agree. Just so. What did you guys think of the way that we got the crew back together? With how they like immediately like gave us an update on everybody's status in Starfleet and stuff in the first 10 minutes of the episode. It's like
we forgot to mention that Elnor is no longer a badass sword-wielding monk. He's now a graduate of Starfleet Academy, which I guess a year and a half is long enough to go through the academy.
Well, no. He's gone through the first portion of the academy. He's doing his
residency
now. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
All right. So he got assigned to a ship, but they incorporated him into. Is he the first Romulan to be in Starfleet?
Apparently, he's the first full Romulan, full-blooded Romulan to be in Starfleet.
So yeah, like I felt like Jurati and Rios are no longer having sex, I guess. So like they're kind of like the ex couple that are forced to work together.
They went, the fans don't really like that. Let's rewrite that part.
No, it's more like the fans don't really like Jurati.
Yeah, nobody likes Jurati.
No one likes that character.
Likes her. Yeah. But I guess they're going to keep her around at least for a couple episodes. Jerry Ryan's 7 of 9. She shows up at the anomaly. Stargazer shows up at the anomaly. Eventually, Raffi's ship, which I forget which one that is, she shows up, and I think that she's the one. She's the ship that has Elnor on it as well,
right?
If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And then Picard is on the Stargazer, so everyone's kind of there, even though they're not all on the same ship. But I felt like the best part of this episode was just seeing Rios with his cigar, commanding an actual Starfleet vessel instead of like being a pirate or a privateer or like whatever.
It was kind of refreshing to me to see a captain who's kind of an anti-captain. You know what I'm saying? He's not such a stuffy dude. I like the fact that he's sitting there, with his cigar and everything.
What's funny, Vader, is so like we recently watched the Hateful Eight, and in that one there's Mexican Bob who talks kind of like this, and on Rios's old ship, I forget the name of it. Ryan, do you know the name of his ship?
The Rio.
Okay, so
I think it's called
7 of 9 is taking care of the Rio, and we have the holographic.
It's called the La Serena.
La Serena. Why is it Rio?
Well, Rio's the name of the captain.
Oh, that's
Cristobal Rios. So like his holographic, I guess like representation on that ship, he talks like this the entire time, and I just kept hearing Mexican Bob.
He was talking in French.
He was talking in Spanish.
I love the hologram character. I guess she merged all the holograms into one.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And I love that when she was fighting, she had to turn off holographic
safety protocols. Yeah, so he
protocols
can actually
that-
like help her out.
which is awesome. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Dennis right in the chat says there's a male as a captain. What the F? Yeah, that's very true.
Well,
I don't feel like
he's a
done a lot
person
of
of
it.
color, so it,
Yeah. Oh, is it okay? Because he's a little
Yeah.
Hispanic.
yeah.
All right. So, that's fine.
Whatever.
Whatever.
He's a cool character.
He is
I-
kind of a cool character.
I did like his character in season 1. I remember having this conversation with you guys in season 1. I'm like, look, the character, the captain of the ship is a cool character.
I hated his character in season 1.
No, I hated where he
he-
became, but I liked how he started.
He was completely useless in season 1. He didn't do anything.
Yes, but the way they introduced him was like, this captain, sort of this recluse.
They kind of wanted him to be a Han Solo character, but they never fully committed to it.
Right. And that's how they introduced him. And it's like sort of a scoundrel. He has a ship full of holograms. Cool idea.
But
Didn't go that way.
Have you guys ever seen Crimson Tide, the Denzel Washington, Gene Hackman submarine movie?
It's been a while. But
So,
yeah,
in that movie, Gene Hackman, he's like a grizzled old war veteran, and he's like the captain of the submarine. He's got like a cigar that he's always chomping on, and you don't usually smoke on submarines because it's like an enclosed space. But I was getting some real like Gene Hackman Crimson Tide vibes from Rios.
That's cool.
in this episode, and I was like, man, where was this guy in the first season?
Did he ever light the cigar? I don't think he did. He kept playing with the lighter, but he never lit it.
Oh, really?
I didn't see him light it. At some point, we gotta get a cool scene where he's like, set the auto destruct sequence, and he lights the cigar.
Okay,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I don't think that actually. I also don't think that like the self destruct went off. I think that the Queen got control at the very end and shut it off right at the end, and then somehow shipped everyone. Quick note: when she says
You're
"look
on,
up," a la what his mom told him when he was a kid, I immediately thought to myself that if the Borg Queen ends up being his mom,
Oh God,
I'm out.
that's a theory. I've read this. I would not shock me if the future
time travel.
if the time travel Borg Queen is his mom.
If it ends up being his mom, I quit.
I wouldn't be too. I wouldn't know if I'd say that if I was you, man, because I think that's what's going to happen.
No.
I really do.
No.
Well,
better. Not.
It was weird seeing the flashbacks because, like, I guess like we were seeing images of his mom going insane, or like having like some type of mental breakdown or something like
Right.
that.
I think his parents don't get along very great.
Now, the actress playing the Borg Queen is not the same actress that plays his mom.
Yeah.
So that's very important to know.
Yeah, it was interesting to see Picard's mom on screen, right? I mean, that's no.
Shane said the same thing. Shane was like, "Oh, it's cool to see one of his backyard strip." I'm like, I don't really care.
Well, me and Shane, he's my twin.
I never got the sense that Picard had like a traumatic childhood. Like I always thought like his parents were like together,
Yeah, I thought his uncle was a little bit of an a-hole, and everyone else was just sort of normal.
Hey guys, the Dork Knight guy is late and he just joined us.
The
Welcome,
Dork Knight.
Hey guys,
nice of you to show up. Nice of you to show up. How you doing?
man? I slept in. I'm sorry. Yeah, so.
We know you're very undependable. It's okay.
Oh,
We get
ouch!
it.
Ow!
We get it. It's all right.
Oh God! Ow! Thank you.
So, Danny, what did you think? Give us your impression.
I thought that Q looked really young for a second. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel yet. Really, like
it's still calculating.
It's just that I want to like it, but
Mhm.
like season 1 was so terrible, and they've just completely ruined. Like I don't want to know about Picard's childhood, and if it's, I really hope his mom's not the Borg Queen. But what was with the Borg Queen looking like Doc Ock? Wasn't that weird? That was new. That was
It's awesome. Like the armor she was wearing.
yeah. And she had the tentacles like Doc Ock or whatever.
Very cool looking.
And she had, the Armis outfit, the black sludge stuff all over.
Yeah.
It looked cool.
I'm-
The fact that she was stunning everyone instead of killing them.
Right.
And they made a note. They made sure to tell you that she was stunning them and not killing them. Interesting. That's not what Borg do. They don't really care.
Yeah, they resistance is futile. They assimilate. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know.
That was very interesting. Yeah,
I did like the ending. I mean, we knew Q was going to be in it, and I did like how it's like, because that's what a TV show is supposed to do. It makes me want to see the next episode.
whether it's the next episode. Pretty bad. Yeah.
So for just 1 second, can we focus on two very important relationship things? So Laris, Picard's kind of like Romulan servant. I guess
Romulan servant.
I guess her counterpart, the dude from season 1, somehow died.
Yeah,
and so she's single and ready to mingle, and she's throwing all types of signs.
I was yelling
for
at
Picard.
Yeah,
and Picard's just like, my synthetic dick can't take this pressure, and I'm not gonna go for this.
I was so bummed, man. I'm yelling at the TV because they almost kiss, and I'm like, "Kiss her, goddamn you!"
What are you doing, Picard? She's hot. You're 97. How many opportunities you gonna get, buddy?
Yeah, right.
The best part I had about that whole scene was the discussion that broke out in our Discord about the age difference, and we're trying to figure out how old Laris is, right? Because Picard's like 100 years old, and
Laris is older than Picard.
But yeah, I kind of that was what the discussion was about. It's like, how old is she? How do Romulans age? Is she around the same age? Just she's lucky because she's Romulan and still kind of hot because she ages slower, or what's going on there? Because people
Romulans
are like,
and Vulcans age like they age the same.
Which
4
is really
times
slower
than the humans. Yeah,
and then and even so, Picard, he could always use the half plus 7 rule, and I still think he'd be okay, right? So it's all right.
That's good. It's good.
I'm half plus 7. I don't think I've heard that one.
So like if you want to date a younger person, you take your age, you cut it in half, and you add 7 years, and if they're older than that, you're good.
Yeah, last time Dork and I did that, he ended up with a restraining order. So
Ha 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 ha.
And now he can't go to schools
I ended
anymore.
up with my kid. That's what
He can't go around schools.
Well, you'd think with his new synthetic body that they might have programmed into him that he doesn't need Viagra, or he's got some type of stamina or something like that. I just thought it was weird, like because I've always been a Beverly Crusher, Jean-Luc Picard shipper,
Sure.
and Laris, I feel like it's just kind of like, for this show they couldn't get Gates McFadden to come in for it, so like they're just using like a poor man's Crusher for Laris. The other thing was Raffi and 7 of 9. So if you remember, out of the blue, Raffi became a lesbian at the end of season 1 and got into a relationship with 7 of 9. And in this episode, they just kind of like, I guess, retcon it with a couple lines of dialogue where Raffi was like, "Oh, 7, like she's married to her work, and so like we went our separate ways, and I rejoined Starfleet and stuff like that."
Yeah.
What do you guys think of them kind of like putting the kibosh on that relationship so early on?
I think it's very smart.
Very, very intelligent and smart. Yes, nobody.
I think it's a misdirect.
I don't think anybody really wanted to see
I don't think anybody
those
cares
two
about
together.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
just it was such a huge. It just came off as a really bad virtue signal on their part, and it's not something we need or want.
I agree. I totally agree, but I think it's a misdirect. I think they're going to end up back together. Just the way that she was talking, and then the previews we've seen for future episodes where they're going to be basically put in, these life-threatening situations together, like when they're in the car and stuff, and their feelings are going to come up. Like I can see it, man. I just that's what and I'm not that I'm a fan of it, not that I want it to happen. I just feel like that's
but that's not really 7-9 doesn't really go that way. She's not a super emotional person.
I agree, but we're whoever's in charge of this show doesn't fucking know Star Trek apparently. So
I don't know. I think the person in charge of this season, Terry Matalas, he literally got his start in Hollywood.
Yeah, and Mark Bernardin I saw his name in the credits as well. I believe is one of the producers, and he's a huge Star Trek fan, and he got his start in Star Trek as well. So I do have faith. I do have faith in those two. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I just have such a bad taste in my mouth from season 1. I'm still trying to wash it out, and if this season goes better. But man, Q's been long overdue. Like I always said for years, like he should have been the big baddie in one of their movies, because it's freaking Q, man. So
Do you guys know that there are 20 producers on this show?
Oh wow,
Yes.
That's a lot of people.
that's a lot.
A lot of writers too.
Vader, you're muted.
We always had that
I am
conversation.
muted.
My brother and I was having the conversation when watching the Discovery. We're like, hey, how are there's 33 writers and all these producers. How in the world is stuff like The Burn in season 3 getting through to our screens? at one point, is there not a writer being like, wait a minute, guys, this is not a good idea. This, Bob, this, here's canon here. How does this work? Or the most recent thing where they're trying to find an alternate way to power their spaceships, and it's for 1,000 years there's multiple ways. There's multiple ways to power spaceships. It's not just dilithium that does it.
We can get mushrooms and fungus spores.
Well, but before that, like the original series, the Romulans had singularity drives, slipstream. There's so many different other forms of propulsion that we've already spoken about, but they decide to completely ignore that and go, the lithium is the only way we do it, aside from the spore drive, and that adds importance to the spore drive, right?
I mean that's kind of the hallmark of Kurtzman era Trek, right? Where like they just kind of ignore like all the canon that came before and kind of go off and go off of what they've heard about Star Trek. Because remember, Kurtzman was never really a Star Trek fan.
Right.
Roberto Orsi, his former partner, a producing partner, who was the big fan, but somehow Kurtzman got his hands on the franchise. And
Are you talking about Discovery?
There's not a single writer that's like, hey guys, what about this?
Writers don't have any power. It's always the producers.
Let me ask a question here, guys. Let me ask a question for you guys. We all, none of us are huge new Trek fans, but let me ask this: is there a way back for this franchise to win us back over? Can they do it?
I mean, this first episode was a great start. They're ignoring a lot of the stuff that happened in the previous season, or they're glossing over it.
Did they even mention that he was synthetic?
No.
This episode? Yeah, they didn't even mention.
No, they
it.
didn't.
No.
Everyone's in uniform. They're wearing the Starfleet pins. They all have jobs of some sort in Starfleet, even if it's Academy Chancellor.
Admiral Hubris didn't make an appearance at all.
Yeah, right.
Right. Right now, as far as the first episode is concerned, this is business as usual. This is the way. I mean, honestly, Picard season 1. This would have been a great start to Picard season 1.
Yes.
Instead of the old man in his chateau broken down and scared of the Borg. No. This should have been the first start. So the fact that we're sort of glossing over the errors from the first season, we're not even mentioning the stuff that's really insane, and we're just sort of going in the correct direction. This is the right way to do it. Now, they can totally screw it up, sure, but do I want to watch next episode? Absolutely. Oh my god, I haven't heavily desired to see another episode of Star Trek in like a decade, guys.
I mean, don't get me wrong, because I'm hate watching Discovery right now. It's still the same big pile of crap.
Oh my god, Discovery season 4 is unwatchable.
It's
I've been having.
So that's why I get nervous when I sort of kind of have a little more optimism toward this show with this single episode, because it does show me that they kind of can tap into the Star Trek DNA a little bit, but yet at the same time we're getting this Discovery nonsense. It's pure crap. It's just
real quick, Danny. We have a
yes, Danny.
Super chat.
Super chat.
Vader, you want to read it?
Who's everyone's favorite Star Trek crew member? Who's everybody's favorite Star Trek crew? Who's your favorite crew member, Matt? I'll start with you.
So, in the past, I would have told you Picard, but I feel like this series has kind of ruined Picard for me. So I'm gonna have to go with Riker.
Riker's great.
Okay.
7 and 9 for me.
7 and 9.
Did you guys ever see? So you know how Riker just kind of the Riker maneuver where he lifts his leg over the chair.
Yes.
So there was a TikTok where a guy was showcasing the varying degrees of difficulty of Riker maneuvers, where like the thing that he was putting his leg over to sit down on got bigger and bigger and harder to do. And Jonathan Frakes did a reaction to it where he's sitting there watching this guy like do the Riker maneuver in increasing difficulty, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I saw that TikTok. It's great.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
I've been watching old episodes of TNG lately because I'm working on a theory. And it is unbelievable how attractive the females in TNG were. Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I mean, just so good looking. It's crazy. Going back as an adult now, I'm like, oh my God. I remember,
especially when they're in their workout gear.
I mean, yeah, but
or season 1 when they
season 6 was one of my favorites. Yeah, I mean, it's
had
amazing. And Riker's reaction though is like, "Oh, hi there."
Well, hello.
His reaction was always so honest, dude. When he opens up when he knocks on Troy's door, and she comes up and she's wearing her nightgown, whatever, and it's ridiculous. It's so obscene. He's like, "Oh, hello
How
there."
you doing? Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, Riker.
So what was yours?
That's one of the reasons I love Riker is he's like the ladies' man. Danny, who was your favorite? Did you say
Vader?
No, I was going to go to Danny next. I'll go last. Go ahead.
Oh, okay,
I'm the host here.
Fair enough. I have to keep it old school, man. Like Captain Kirk, the original ladies' man. I liked Riker a lot because he was like.
He was the Kirk insert,
yeah. But I gotta stay OG. I gotta go with Captain Kirk.
I think you guys all have, those are all great characters. My favorite character has always kind of been Worf. I'm a huge Worf guy.
Of course. If I had to guess,
yeah. He's
you were in the man. We're curious where you stand.
That's right. But I like badass Worf, and I like funny Worf too. It's like, I am not a merry man. I must protest. I am not, that stuff. That is like one of my favorite lines of all time.
Or when he's got the big,
and he's got his stupid
the
tights and hat on, and and the gorch.
And Riker's like, Klingons don't do anything small.
But it's just,
yeah. I love Riker and Worf. Their interactions were.
They have
even
a great,
though they're sort of limited.
Right.
When they made him walk the plank, he's like, oh my God.
I'd also like to point out that Riker was the best part of Picard season 1.
It was.
He was. Yeah. Although the copy and paste ships at the end
was
of
awful.
That was
It
awful.
wasn't Riker's fault.
Yeah,
it wasn't Riker's fault.
But he did come save the day like a boss.
Riker showed up, saved the day like a boss, and that was really fantastic. Marina Sirtis is still good looking.
Yeah. What was the name of Riker's ship again? The
Titan.
The Titan.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen like a Titan series where we actually got to see Riker as captain. That would have been awesome.
You guys have no idea how many times that almost happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
it almost happened from three CEOs of Paramount and CBS. They almost did it so many times. They had scripts. They started production 3 or 4 times and never got past the initial stage. It was so close.
That's a criminal, man. That should have happened. I know the actor who plays Worf, whose name's eluding me right now.
Michael Dorn.
He still to this day is lobbying for a Captain Worf series. I don't know if you heard about that.
That would be great.
It would be, and he could still pull it off
with a Defiant.
I don't know.
I don't know if Worf can carry an entire show on his own though.
And I feel like that's what the studio keeps telling him because he's been lobbying it for years, years now.
Although you should have thrown Worf on the Titan.
Oh yeah,
with Riker at the helm.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
Did you guys pick up on the Sulu reference in this episode?
Yeah.
The ship called the Sulu.
Yep. The Hikaru Sulu.
Continuing the trend of there always being a Sulu in every single episode, every single incarnation of Star Trek.
That's really cool. They brought back. There was a lot of member berries with the ship names last night. There was the Intrepid, the Sulu, the my brain is
the Stargazer.
Raffi was on. What was the ship Raffi was on with Romulan boy? It was the one that from Star Trek 2 that they tried to chase me down.
Excelsior?
Was it the Excelsior? I think.
I want to say Excelsior.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Wasn't Reliant. I mean, the other one from 2 is Reliant, but
Or 3, whatever. 3. I don't know.
I tell you what, though, the Stargazer with those 4 nacelles look kind of badass.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I like that design.
That was a callback too. That was like a lot of the older ships back then. Like there was like 4 or 5 classes, and one of the classes was that ship with like where it's sort of like the snub nose shotgun style.
So what was the Stargazer? Because they mentioned something about it being retrofitted. Was that the original Stargazer, or was that a whole new Stargazer?
No, so I got this one. It's a new ship that they designed with technology from the Borg Cube project thing from season 1.
Right.
And that was what made Seven nervous because and I think that's why the Borg, the Queen chick was easier. It was easier for her to interface with that ship because there was Borg technology built into the ship of the Stargazer. So it's a new class.
That wasn't a bad idea at all.
Yeah,
what could possibly go wrong?
Hold up, though. I think about it. Like, if you've already defeated the Borg and you got this remnant of the Borg left, and they have these upgrades that can make your ship better, and so the first ship off the line is the Stargazer, 4.0, whatever, and they integrate some of the tech that they got from the Borg cube. The Borg are no longer here. I can totally see how. Oh, yeah, let's make the ships better.
But
there's no reason to fear the Borg anymore. And then this
has that been established? Has that been established? Like all the Borg are gone? I didn't know that was what was established.
Yeah, we've defeated the Borg. We're like they said in season 1, whatever Borg are left are few and far between, and they're not even connected anymore. The Borg aren't even connected.
Okay.
So let me ask you guys this: with Paramount and CBS now having remerged, and all the Star Trek IPs are now back under one umbrella, and there's talk of doing like another movie and stuff like that. Do you think that they're going to use the time travel in this season to kind of retcon like the JJ Kelvin timeline into the regular timeline, like merge all the timelines, so like we have like master timeline for Star Trek again,
like Spider-Man, this shit kind of thing?
Yeah, Spider-Man.
I don't know. That's hard.
I don't think so, because they reference they actually referenced the JJ verse in Discovery recently. So weird. They're talking about like the timelines or whatever, and they actually mentioned a timeline where Spock used the red matter or whatever it's called.
I have not been able to get past, like, what episode am I on? I'm on it's where Burnham and her boyfriend have a basically a lover's quarrel because he wants to go after the people
DMA.
Yeah, and like I don't know, I probably is the season over? Like how many episodes do I got left?
There's 2 episodes left.
Jesus. So I still got to watch those. So I don't think I've seen the part you're talking about.
No. This happened last season when they were explaining the timelines. They're explaining the timelines, and they actually explained that there was a timeline. The timeline where Spock went back in time, or whatever. And it's hard to explain, but there's a clip out there, you can find it. And they acknowledge that there's a completely different timeline that exists, which is totally confusing to me. I'm not even sure how they know that.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice the Spock book in this episode?
Yes.
Where basically like Spock wrote a book and Picard is gifting it to Elnor.
My first reaction as someone who collects first editions is, don't give him the first edition, man. Rip that thing. What are you doing? That's a first edition Spock book.
I thought it would have been fun. I thought it would have been funny if it was called I Am Spock.
Yeah, right.
That would have been good.
That would have been great. That would have been great.
I didn't realize that Spock was the first Vulcan to go into Starfleet Academy.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's not even a full Vulcan, but yeah.
Well, we know. Yeah.
First Vulcan to go through this. Yeah. It's the first Vulcan. Actually, T'Pol wasn't. Never went through the Academy.
Right.
She's from the Vulcan science, whatever. So
I want to know. Kirk and Spock get a lot of credit in the current time period. Whatever happened to Bones and his contribution to the medical science and stuff? We never hear anything about Bones
or Scotty.
Yeah, there's no USS Scotty or USS Bones flying around out there.
I think there is a USS Montgomery.
Yeah, there's a Montgomery. Yeah.
I
Well,
do
they
like
wouldn't-
that my favorite character, Miles O'Brien, is now in canon the most important character in all of Star Trek.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
of,
I love that.
Yes.
what was that? Like Lower Decks. Yeah.
Lower
that was
Decks,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah. That was so
Yeah.
funny.
That is awesome. You know,
I love Miles O'Brien.
Miles O'Brien's awesome. He was in every version. I
Yeah.
kept wanting to see like in Discovery and in Picard. I want just like some kind of O'Brien walking by with his name badge or something. I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the O'Brien, but there
Yeah.
needs to be an O'Brien on every
Yeah.
ship.
And
I mean, I agree.
and they always order coffee double strong, double sweet.
Yes.
Yes,
I
yeah, I think you
think-
can have that where they're on the West Hall and the camera pans by and,
And they're always dating some Asian chick.
it's so O'Brien name thing is like double strong, double sweet. All you have to do is have that little homage. They should have.
I think it could be a cool little, and this might be too memorabilia or whatever, but I think it'd be a cool little thing where like Picard needs to ask somebody for a favor, and it's like Admiral, thank you, baby, Admiral O'Brien. You know what I mean? And he turns around with his coffee. You know what I mean? I think that'd be hilarious.
I would love to see an Ensign Kim. I want to see an Ensign Kim at some point. A little dorky Asian guy where it's like his name is Ensign Kim. Like, okay, he's still an ensign. Yes. 200 years
funny.
later.
That's funny.
Yeah, but
Man.
the new crew here in Picard, I still hate Raffi. I still hate Girardi. It looks like Soji isn't going to be in this
Yeah,
season all that much.
I read that her appearance was just a cameo.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah,
fan
pretty
service. So,
We're never going to find out what happened to Narek, which I don't care about, but it would have been nice if they'd say like, oh, he escaped and we caught him or like whatever. So like the only people that I really kind of care about are Picard and 7 of 9 and maybe Captain Rios because he's actually cool this season.
I like Rios. Like he was like, I love how he's got the big old cigar. He's
Yeah.
chomping out like he's freaking Wolverine or something while he's
Love
on the
it.
bridge.
Love it.
And the Stargazer bridge, like it's just so nice to be on like a Federation vessel for once.
right.
Right.
Because all last season it was just on that stupid, was it La Reina?
La Serena.
La Serena.
It's the Macarena.
The Macarena. Yeah.
The Millennium
I
Falcon
was-
stand-in.
I was going to ask you guys, we're all Trekkies, we're all Trek nerds. Did, like Matthew just said, is them going to a familiar style and trope as far as the design of the ships and the cars and does that matter to you guys? Because it matters to me. It's like it was special to me that the very first thing that we saw of this episode was the old familiar red alert flash.
I love that. Yeah.
And that immediately told me that like, hey, this looks familiar. to
Right.
me.
And the
You
sound.
know what I'm saying? And
the sound effects were all Star Trek.
Yeah.
I
And-
love the uniform design too. Like
Right.
it was familiar but different.
Yeah.
Right. It was updated, but it was definitely familiar.
And
The sounds, that sounds like all the sound effects are like TNG, TOS.
Mhm.
Like they're updated, but you can tell it's red alert. I hated the fact that in Discovery, like all the sounds were different. When they teleported, it was different. When they
Right.
used the computers, it didn't sound the same. Even the black alert or whatever it was called.
Yeah, it was
Black
stupid.
alert. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
so
Even that sounded bad. Everything
Hey,
was
black,
different.
black alerts matter. Okay.
here's the difference between
Oh, shut up. But when they kept saying black alert,
Put it
I
on a
was like,
shirt.
why do they keep saying black alert? It's driving me
What does
nuts.
that mean? Here's what I noticed. It's a very stark difference for me. In Discovery, I was talking to Matt last Monday about this. That when you're on the bridge and they're getting blown up, it's like they literally have like fire pots and spark vents coming out of the exact same place on every single.
It's
every
like a rock and roll stage show.
It does. It looks like it looks like a stage show, and it looks absolutely ridiculous. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. But I noticed immediately, like when I at the beginning of this episode, that there was some chaos going on, and what I really appreciated was when all the crew people were running through the hallway, right, and they're heading towards the bridge, and the ship gets rocked. They didn't do the old oh crap, something hit us. Those crew people got slammed against that wall.
Yeah.
Right.
That was next level stuff for a Star Trek episode to me.
Yeah, it really was.
And I'm like, wow, that looked real. And that's something that I don't get out of a lot of Star Trek.
You know what,
I appreciated it.
It's funny because they actually fixed the problem in that in the very beginning of this episode. That a lot of Star Trek, even the Star Trek we love, how many times you're watching a Star Trek show in the past where the ship gets hit with phasers or whatever, and people are flying out of their chairs, right?
Yeah,
and you're like, why is there no seatbelts? Well, because they want to show that the bridge is chaotic and this problem. Well, they were able to show that without showing people flying out of their chairs in the bridge. They were showing that with the crew members running down the corridor where there are no seatbelts.
Oh, Brian, let me ask you this, because you might know. So, like when I was watching, I'm 3 episodes into season 4 of Discovery right now, and what's weird to me is like when the shields get hit, stuff's blowing up on the bridge and stuff like that. So like I'm wondering, like, do the shields offer like any type of actual protection from like getting shot?
It's so funny. This is like
because they'll fly out of their seats and they'll be like, shields are at 56%. And I'm like, shouldn't the shields be absorbing this stuff? Like what's the purpose of shields if your ship is exploding inside?
Discovery is the worst offender.
It is
because
so bad.
Because they do this thing. They also did this where like they kept losing artificial gravity.
Yeah,
right?
it was cringy. It was so
and they would
funny.
fly in the air. They're flying up in their seats and down, and you're like, what is happening right now? Yeah, you're right. For some reason, the shields don't offer any actual protection. It's almost like a countdown. Like it's almost like a trope. Like this is how much damage we could take before we're screwed, and so they can count down. 12%, 8%, 3%.
I can understand if there's some type of kinetic factor where when something hits the shields, the ship is like moved because like it's projecting the shields, and people on like the inertial dampeners don't fully absorb it, so people like rock or whatever. But when they're like when computers are literally exploding from an impact on the shield, it's like, what is going on? Like how is that damage occurring?
I feel
don't
like
understand
that
it.
bridge needs better engineering because right when the shields get hit, things explode immediately.
Yeah.
It just seems very dangerous.
It's
they can really use seatbelts because artificial gravity keeps coming offline and they're floating in the air. They're like, activate shields.
And like
activate shields.
You know, our 20th century computers, when they explode, they don't like become a fireball. They like there's like a little puff of smoke and the mainframe is just like fried, you know, like
right. Also, I'm not using my computer shortly after it explodes.
What is powering their computers that they have these massive explosions?
It's like, I mean,
everywhere and smoke.
They should have red X's taped on the floor of the bridge of the Discovery saying, "Don't stand there because that's where the fire is going to come out of the fire port." Above your workstation. It's terrible. Yeah, it's a really bad spot.
Yes, and where they explode should not be where they're sitting.
I mean, they shouldn't be focusing on new propulsion methods. They should be focusing on new shielding methods that make sure that like their computers don't blow up when they get hit by something.
It's like, hey, look, it's cool. The nacelles aren't attached, but they're not doing anything either. So it's weird.
Oh, that bugs me so much.
That bugs me so much from a design perspective. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh,
it's very impractical because what if that link gets severed and all of a sudden you don't have any engines?
Right. I know it's a magnetic link or whatever, but it just doesn't. It doesn't look right from a creative standpoint, and I mean, we're complaining about like their computers on the bridge being destroyed. What if they get hit in the wrong place and now the nacelles are disconnected?
All the ships in Discovery.
What if they just go flying and they're like, we're stuck here forever.
They're all transformers. They all can change shapes. It's wild.
It's so weird. Oh,
so
man.
goofy.
When they were losing gravity and flying up in their chairs and like.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Have I not seen this episode yet? Because
it's the second episode. Second episode, season 4. Yeah. Yeah, and we're supposed to be talking about Picard, and we're all like losing our
it's really
mind
hard.
over this other thing. But yeah, it's just there's a stark difference between Discovery and Picard, and it's really confusing me because I'm so used to just hating on new Star Trek that even this being I'm still hesitant to say that I really like this because I feel like I'm going to get burned. But at the same time, I really hope I'm not. And it's like I asked you guys earlier, I want there to be a way back for us old school fans to start liking Star Trek again. It's important to me. This is an important franchise for me. You know, it's right. It might be more important for me than Star Wars. You know, but it's been such a hard, rough decade now with this franchise for me. I'm shell shocked and I'm afraid to say that I actually like it.
Well, I will say this under Kurtzman era. So the Kurtzman era started off really bad, but it seems like they're at least trying to course correct. Like they are listening to the fans and they're trying to shift the major criticisms back to what the fans actually want. So that to me is at least a little bit hopeful. Like I kind of wish that Kurtzman wasn't in charge of all Star Trek, that someone a little bit more talented was. But at least they seem to be listening, and at least they seem to be trying to fix things. That being said, again, Star Trek Discovery, like that's been a misfire since day one.
That show is so bad. I mean, like that's why I'm having a hard time finishing the season. I just can't.
Yeah, I did like Lower Decks. I haven't watched season 2 yet. I haven't checked out the other one, Star Trek
Prodigy.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that at all.
Yeah, but
it starts off good, ends a little rough.
And but I'm looking forward to Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
And like I said, like I watched this episode of Picard, the first episode of season 2, and I didn't hate it. So that's an improvement. I hated season 1.
Yes.
Like Danny, before you got on, I was telling Vader, hey, remember when we were first started our podcast and we were talking about season 1 and we thought the first episode of season 1 was pretty good too. And then as the season went along, we were like, oh no. And by the time Icheb got his eyeball ripped out, we were like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. No,
So,
I remember that. That was back in the kitchen when it was just audio.
I want to address Dennis's comment here really quick. He just simply asked, so should we watch this show, Picard? Here's what I'm going to say. If you've never seen any episodes of Picard, just start with this episode.
Or don't wait until this season's done.
Yeah, or do that.
Yeah.
Don't watch season 1 because it is awful, and it'll make you'll be shell shocked if you're a Star Trek fan. You will hate it. It'll make you think less of.
It'll make you hate Picard.
Yeah, it really does. They completely deconstruct. Like we talked about this before. Like they completely deconstruct Picard. They ruin like a hero.
They neutered the character.
Yeah, they really did. You know. He ends up being like a sad shell of his former self.
Everyone doesn't respect him. They walk all over him.
He
that's
constantly
not how
gets
it is.
busted down.
It's not how it is in the beginning of this season.
Definitely. He's like well respected. He's given a commencement speech. You know, it's like
it's like the way Picard should have been at 97 years old.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
but there's no sheer effing hubris moment in this. Like in the first season, Picard is like this old, washed up man who basically failed to save the Romulan civilization, so nobody respects him. And like, and he goes off on this like weird quest to like save Data's daughter, and it's just everything is so contrived and stupid, and they just crap all over Picard. Like he has like no agency for like the entire season. It's not even his ship that they're using to go off on this thing. And this season feels like it respects the character a lot more than season 1 does so far, but we're only 1 episode in, so who knows?
That's why I'm like, I don't want to get too excited.
It's like I don't want people out there going, oh, salty nerds are out there shilling for Picard, because let me tell you something, we are not. We are absolutely not doing that.
I'm still wondering how in a society that has the ability to create matter out of nothing, why Picard has like a vineyard that actually ages and makes wine instead of just replicating wine. You know, like who buys that stuff, or who do they give it away to because there's no money in the society supposedly? I don't know.
It is. They can just replicate the bottles and their labels.
And why are there migrant workers on his winery? Like what do they get in exchange for the backbreaking work of
a lifetime supply of wine?
I mean, to be honest, I mean there wasn't a lot of backbreaking work going on. They had the little transporter grape picker things flying between the rows. Did you notice that how the grapes were being picked? Cool. I thought that was really
Yeah,
kind of
they were kind of teleporting the grapes.
and
off
I
the
mean,
vine.
and honestly, man, you could bring Jude in there right now, and you could ask her, Jude, do you want to drink real wine or wine that came out of a replicator? And a wine drinker is going to tell you every single time, give me the real stuff.
Yeah.
And just because it doesn't cost money, it doesn't mean people don't want to drink it.
But I mean, the replicated stuff is real stuff, right?
No, it's not.
It's supposed to be
synthahol.
It's supposed to be a replication of.
But it's
whatever
synthahol.
it is that they're
But
creating.
Can't get
still,
drunk. Drink as much as you
replicated hamburger, real hamburger. I'm eating the real one every single time. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean-
Tucker from Enterprise would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Nothing can beat a good catfish.
want. Or a piece of pecan pie.
I mean,
Pecan pie.
Cisco's dad owns a restaurant in New Orleans where they use real food that he grows on his farm or whatever. I mean, so that's actually something I don't think they've ever really gone down in the Star Trek world, is that there's probably a no synth food people and real food people that kind of like
Yeah, just like there's like
ongoing battle, you know.
people that only eat organic stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure in that time it's like no, we don't do replicator.
Oh,
here.
what would you call it? So like we got vegans
we only do
here.
organic.
Yeah, if we have people in the future who only do replicated food, like I wonder what they would be called, instead of like vegan.
One of the things that really annoyed
Organos.
One of the things that really annoyed me in Star Trek Picard season 1 was they introduced the concept that the Federation uses money, and there's class warfare within the Federation because Picard, Raffi gave him crap for having this big fancy chateau while she lives in a little trailer out in the desert. And I was like, this is so not Star Trek, because you have a society where resources are in abundance. So you could live wherever you wanted and have as big of a thing. You could teleport in a massive mansion in the middle of a desert and have water and power and all that stuff. So the class warfare stuff and money didn't make any sense to me, because Picard hires Rios and his ship in exchange for money for that first season. And I've always
Federation
been
credits.
Yeah, I've always been like I thought that the Federation was post money, but there's so many examples within Star Trek of people using money. So
Latinum,
I'm so
like on
confused.
Deep Space
So I guess
Nine.
there is no specific direct way of explaining exactly how the Star Trek future works.
there isn't.
And I gotta be honest. Let's keep it that way, because there's no way to explain
No.
this hybrid socialist system in the future. So it's easier just to not explain it and just gloss over that portion, because I don't think you can possibly explain it.
I completely agree. Sometimes we as fans just have to maybe chill a little bit and just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, man,
as far as
suspend
that kind of
disbelief.
stuff
It's
goes.
entertainment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not trying to.
Agreed.
You gotta have money sometimes, because sometimes you have to exchange money for something.
Well, that's why
they
isn't that why they? I mean, they introduced the whole gambling and Latinum and all that stuff. And
right,
DS9 with
but
the
that was
flying
Deep Space Nine, where it's on the
Yeah.
frontier. And
so can
other species.
Latinum not be replicated? Is that
That's what makes it special. It's molecular. It's the way it's Latinum is it can't be replicated properly.
Because I'm wondering, why can't the future Federation and spacefaring races use crypto, right?
Right, that's what, I think that's what a Federation credit is.
And
You
we
never
just
actually
went,
see the Federation credit, right?
we just went from
I'm transferring Federation credits to your account right now.
I'm just waiting for him to slip in a line of dialogue where I'll transfer that NFT to your account, sir.
Well, all the starships are their own NFTs.
you guys have to stop. We're losing people. Okay. But yeah, that's a debate that's been going around Star Trek for a long, long time. It's like, what's their economy like? What does this work? How do they do this? It's just don't worry.
I love
about it. Just
yeah.
move along.
In First Contact, Picard tries to explain it to that to the
Alfred Woodward,
yeah, and it was just like,
well, he basically says we don't have money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
we all work for a common goal or whatever.
And the basis of that is replicator technology, right? Because in a society where you can literally replicate anything that you need, you don't need money, right? So
Walkie-talkie.
in the opening of this episode, where 7 of 9 is fighting the pirates who are trying to steal the medical supplies, I'm like, well, number one, why are they shipping medical supplies? Like, don't they have replicators that could just make all the medical supplies that you need on whatever planet? Just ship them a replicator instead of like having all these boxes of like medicine and stuff like that.
Matt, I think you think too hard about this kind of stuff sometimes. Your
It's
brain
the writer in him.
Your brain doesn't allow you to go over that kind of stuff sometimes. I get it though. I mean, replicator technology would make everything super easy, right? It would change.
All you would need is a power source for it.
Well, right? I don't know, Brian. I think you're probably more of an authority on this. One of the most recent episodes of Discovery that I watched, so it probably wasn't super recent, the Admiral actually confirms that their replicators are basically repurposing their human waste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that always been the case, Brian? Because that fucking freaked me out. I was like, wait a minute, they're eating their shit. He's like,
you can't just make matter out of nothing. They've got to use it.
That's the way.
Yeah, but they've never gone as far to say that, have they? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think they've ever actually explained that all of our waste was going into the replicator.
You remember what I'm talking about, right? It was the Oded Fair character.
Yeah, but there's an episode of Voyager where I think it was called it was the Darkest Timeline one, where like they're like, limping through the Delta Quadrant. They're like, a bunch of people died. Tuvok is blind, and Chakotay creates a watch with the replicator to give to Janeway for her birthday. Right? It's like a compass or a watch or something. I don't know, some kind of device. And he's like, I wanted to get these for her birthday. And she's like, put it back in the replicator. We need all the replicator rations we can get right now. And she was like, well, I think that's what it is. Like, you have a finite amount of resources. Even the replicator can't continually.
Yeah, but I thought they said it was resequenced protons or something in the.
No, you gotta feed it raw material. You gotta feed it material.
I'd completely forgotten about their people. They have replicator rations. You're absolutely correct. That's been referenced several times over the decades, I believe.
Right. Because if you make something that you're not going to put back in the replicator, then now that's something you pulled out of the replicator system forever. Right?
So I guess you replicate something, you eat it, you get rid of it a couple days later, right? And then it gets put back into the replicator system.
Yeah, but not all of it. Because
there you go.
Some of that you're using carbohydrates and proteins are being used for fuel.
I don't want to eat replicated food because you're eating poop.
So only so much of it. Let's say half of it is going back in the system, but the other half is being used to fuel you.
I just think it's funny.
Replicators aren't permanent. Like, you got to keep feeding them something.
Yeah, it's just funny because this is something I'd never ever thought of before. And it's just a one line of dialogue where he's actually kind of a smartass about it. He basically is like, we're eating our own shit,
I mean, like, can't you just go to like a planet and get like a couple like pounds of dirt and like feed it into the replicator? Does the replicator require a certain type of material, or can it just be anything? Yeah, can you pull an asteroid into the ship and break it down and use that as replicator material?
I think it needs to be a certain complex.
Well, we need
this
to get
conversation is above my pay grade. I know
we need to get Mike Okuda on the show and ask him. Right?
Yeah.
So.
That's Star Trek Picard.
Yeah.
You gotta reach out to him, Mr. Blue Check Mark. He might actually say yes.
That would be something. Getting Mike Okuda on the show. That'd be
right.
Great.
Shit.
Yeah. So like Matt said, Star Trek Picard. I'm just gonna give my take really quick. I am again feel hopeful that we might get something watchable and passable for this season. Man, if they burn me again, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll probably just keep hate watching. But I didn't hate this as much as I thought I was going to. I can't say I'm hate watching this show like I'm watching Discovery. I'm genuinely curious what they're going to do. And I know we're going to get some real tropey time travel Q stuff, but you know what? Maybe that's kind of what I want right now. I don't give me some Q. We all love that dude. And I guess I'm I'm waiting for next episode. I'm looking forward to it. Is this a good show? I'm not going to say that yet. But I enjoyed many parts of episode 1 of season 2, and that's about where I'm going to leave it there. So, what do you guys think?
I'm with you. Same.
Yeah, this is Picard, A New Hope. Is what I just don't fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'm not gonna watch you any goddamn more.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
like because it's actually given me hope, and it's like you one of you guys said earlier, you could totally not watch season 1 at all, and you're not missing any. In fact, it's probably better for it.
Yep.
So yeah.
Don't watch season 1. Just forget it exists.
Oh, from a filmmaker point of view, Kadish, so much better it was done here. I'm not sure if I said that right, but the way the shots came in and they panned in, they showed from left to right, and I didn't get this like weird feeling of like someone made mistakes or it was shot out of sequence like I did in season 1.
I mean, like, I didn't notice any egregious filmmaking errors. The way I'm approaching this season is I'm expecting the worst, but hoping for the best.
There you go.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just because I've been burned by Kurtzman Trek so many times. Like, every time I go into a Kurtzman series, I'm like, I really hope this is good. I don't think it's going to be. And I'm usually, proven right. Unfortunately, but so far, like we only have 1 episode to judge this on, and so far, like it seems like they're addressing all the complaints about the first season within this episode. So they're kind of wiping the slate clean, and they're being like, okay, like here's what you guys wanted. We're going to give it to you, and then we're going to go into like our story. And one of the weird things about this season is, for me at least, is that a lot of this stuff is going to be in contemporary, like Los Angeles, right? It's basically like they're saving on the budget by going back and just like shooting on actual locations and keeping the special effects budget down and things of that nature. And I'm kind of worried because I don't like I want my Star Trek to be futuristic. I don't want a story that's going to take place in current era time.
I agree, but they're looking at like what was the most successful original series movie, box office wise.
Well, 4, right?
4, yeah, where they go back in time. So I feel like they're just trying to maybe they're like, no, this is what Star Trek fans want. We fucked up so bad. This is, maybe that's their thought process. I don't know, but I agree with you. I prefer my Star Trek in the future.
Well, I just like I saw that I saw the preview for this season, like that played after the first episode, and it just felt like a lot of the contemporary stuff, like that's going to be a big chunk of the show. And I'm like, I don't care about that stuff. I want to see futuristic stuff in my sci-fi. So I mean, like
Star Trek with dinosaurs. That'd be funny.
And then you have the totalitarian version of the Federation. And I feel like that has the danger to get super political, and I don't want to be dealing with like the politics of it. So I'm kind of like, I'm hoping that what we saw in the first episode, which is like them course correcting and trying to, just give the fans what they want. I hope that carries throughout the rest of the series, but I'm not even cautiously. I guess you could say I'm cautiously pessimistic about this.
Let me ask you guys this, both you, Matt. So how nice is this though? Because like after last we all were together talking about Picard. Did you think we'd be having a conversation like the one we're having now, where we're kind of like we kind of like what we've seen? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I had no hope of that.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, I was done talking about Star Trek. I was going to be playing video games on Saturday mornings. I was done with you guys.
Yeah,
and it was just like this came on, and I go, man, we got to start the show back up. We need to talk about this show.
Yeah. And
so here we are, and I told you guys.
I think that's a credit to the show.
I told you guys when we were eating sushi. I go, guys, this show isn't terrible. We kind of need to talk about this, and you know, people are going to hate on us, but you know what? We still need to like be nerds and talk about this stuff. And
I will say it was nice that it wasn't the Q show right off the bat.
No.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yes.
they save Q for like the very final scene, and when you hear him say "Mon Capitan," you're just like
Oh, you're like,
Q.
Yeah.
You
No,
start
it's a
doing
great-
the Nancy Pelosi.
No, it was a perfect way to end because
yeah.
like Brian said, like makes you want to watch that next episode. That's
Right.
what I had to do.
And I absolutely love the face app gag that they did with young Q versus old Q. It's like,
I
here,
loved it.
Let me catch up. Boom, and it's like,
Like Jean-Luc, you got old. Here,
there was
I'll get old too.
I actually love how they did that.
Like there was no like explanation as to why he's old.
Yeah.
No. It was like, oh, Jean-Luc, let me catch up. Like,
Yeah, I thought it was perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good. Classic Q there.
Yeah.
That's the way to
Good
go.
stuff.
And I did like the final line where he was like, "The trial never ends."
The trial.
And it's so funny watching Picard's like expression where he's like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me! Not Q again."
Yeah, he's
No,
like,
I loved it when he said, "God damn Q."
God damn Q.
That was funny. Yeah, that was good.
What did you guys think of the Guinan scene?
Completely unnecessary.
Yeah, not
It served
necessary.
zero
Agreed.
purpose. We didn't need to know about that. We didn't. And
Yeah,
her
like what purpose
explanation
did
as
it
to why
serve?
She chooses the age. It's so
Yeah.
dumb. I didn't care.
It's like I guess I'm okay with having Guinan come back. She was
I mean, I like seeing Guinan again.
But seriously, like what narrative purpose did she serve?
Did you notice? Did you notice that her bar was just called 10?
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
though.
for sure.
I love that it was called 10. I bet you it's on Forward Street.
It is on Forward Street, actually. Danny, her purpose was to get the narrative going that Picard has mommy and daddy issues from when he was a little kid that made him go to the stars and be a loner and not want to come back
she
to
played
Earth.
psychiatrist, didn't she?
She's his therapist. So
I get it, but
yeah, that's what she was there for, and also for fan service, so we could see her
and I get
stupid flat hat again. So
yeah, it's fan service, and to give her a purpose, he's going there to talk about his issues. Okay.
And how is it this the first time we've ever heard about these mommy daddy issues? Got a pet.
I know, right?
well, yeah. Well,
to be fair, we never talked about it, so like it's not like it's breaking canon. It's just adding.
It's adding to it. I mean, we all know that Picard has issues about not wanting to go home. It took him. There's after the Borg episode when he goes and hangs out with his brother and his nephew and stuff. After what was the episode? Best of Both Worlds. After Best of Both Worlds, that's our first introduction to Chateau Picard. And his home. And I really don't have a huge issue.
I want to smack that kid. I'm like,
I know,
Uncle Picard, bro.
Yeah. And they're exploring a part of Picard's life that we really have never explored.
Well,
I don't have a huge issue with that at all.
That's cool. They killed all those people off screen in Star Trek Generations, by the way. So
do you guys, speaking of killing people, do you guys think that this series is going to have the balls to get rid of Girardi and Raffi? Because those are the least favorite.
Yeah, one of them will go. For sure.
I don't understand how that murderous bitch is still even like allowed to, gallivant around.
Well, because she was
under the influence of the Romulans.
Yeah, temporary insanity, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember they said that.
To be fair, a Romulan mind melded with her, right? That's got to be some kind of I
mind rape. Okay, all right. Fine.
I can see that there was some kind of mental.
I wonder.
She is my least favorite character.
I wonder, since Picard is a synthetic now, if he can now mind meld, if he like really concentrates. Because remember when the synthetics were like, "Oh, we can do this too." We read a book about Vulcan.
I hated that, by the way.
Do you think they should send space flowers against the huge Borg anomaly thing?
Bro, you need to stop. Stop. That season 1 doesn't exist.
Yeah.
They did not mention. I don't think they mentioned at all that he's a synthetic now.
Yeah, I don't think they didn't. They didn't.
It's like we're just gonna forget that happened.
Yeah.
So
and like Data's daughter, I mean, she's in it for like half a second.
She's a cameo. She's done. It's over.
That poor actress is like, she had the biggest role in the first season, and now she's out.
It's like your storyline about killed the franchise. So we're done with you. Yeah.
Well, they are bringing back Brent Spiner at a certain point in the
Yeah.
season,
Yes, but he's
So
not playing a weird plastic version of fat face version of Data.
He's
Thank God.
he's going to be the character he was in Enterprise, right?
Yeah,
The-
well, he's
Awesome.
gonna be
a version of it. Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
gonna be like an ancestor. It's probably
Yeah,
because
because
a father or grandfather of that character.
Yeah, it was because in Enterprise he was
Soon.
he was like he wasn't the one that created Data. He was his dad in Enterprise, because he was the one that did the augments.
Right. So he
Yeah.
was a ancestor of Soon that created Data.
Yeah,
And he worked on the Europa station working with the augments Enterprise. And he
Yeah.
became fascinated with the augment biology,
Mhm.
which is awesome because it made this take this character, and he was really into the whole augment thing and the eugenics and all, what happened around that time. And at the very end of that episode in Enterprise, you remember when he goes, you know what? I think I'm gonna start focusing more
on like cybernetics or something.
on cybernetics and
Yeah.
robotics, and
Yeah,
it
and
was
just
like a
like
throwaway
he's like-
line.
Yeah, and he's just like, maybe I'll do
And
this.
Archer's like, whatever, dude. But to the fans, you're like, yes, all right.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
that same character, remember, he was working on Europa. Well, Q is wearing. In one of the trailers, Q is like in San Francisco, and he's wearing a shirt that has the Europa Station patch on it, dude.
Oh shit! I didn't notice that. Okay.
Yes, I found that. I literally I was going frame by frame, and I see this frame where he's like holding up something for just a brief second, and he's wearing the Europa patch on his shirt. And Europa
So that probably is him. Yeah.
bro. Europa is where Khan, right, was born, and where he was the first person on the Europa station. Khan was the first person on the Europa station. So there's some augment stuff going on for sure this season, and it has something to do with Soon Data's character.
Yeah.
Sure.
The timing doesn't necessarily add up though, because in the original series episode Space Seed, Khan's Botany Bay launched like in what 96 or
96.
Yeah. So
right. But World War III starts in 2026.
right.
Well, technically 2022, right?
Well, they're getting pretty close.
No.
With Russia and the Ukraine, that's when it starts.
Oh, there's a whole theory. You know what's funny is you want to talk about Star Trek predicting World War III. Star Trek, there's actually very little we know about World War III, but we do know, and that's something to do with the Eastern Correlation, about China and Russia, and the rest of the world, and something to do with eugenics. So we have in what they're going to 2024 in this series, and in 2026 World War III starts, and it had something to do with Colonel Green, who's in Star Trek mythology, Colonel lore. Colonel Green was the guy who started World War III. Colonel Green was also a big augment guy. He loved the eugenics and the augment. His thing was like humans first, Terra Prime, blah, 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 blah. And the guy who worked on the showrunner of this season, one of his first PA jobs, like I said before, was working on Enterprise on the episode Terra Prime.
Green. So that was RoboCop, right? RoboCop was that character, right? The Peter Weller.
Peter Weller.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just showed a picture of him in
I gotta go back and watch all those episodes.
They showed a picture of Colonel Green. The character you're talking about was someone who he was trying to continue Colonel Green's dream.
Oh, okay.
Of humans first. But yeah, he worked on that episode. So we're gonna see we'll probably see Colonel Green for finally we'll see him on screen. Before we've only seen him in pictures on screen.
Okay.
We might actually see someone acting as Colonel Green. But he was big on eugenics, big on the augments, and now we have a Soon ancestor working on augment stuff, and he's wearing the Europa patch. This 100%, I'm convinced that it'll have something to do with World War III and augments.
And the Borg Queen is also in the previews, and I'm assuming this has something to do with the Borg left over from the Enterprise episodes, right? Or maybe not.
It's possible. It's possible. That's a possibility I didn't even consider, actually.
Or maybe they're time travelers from the Star Trek Discovery 1,000 years ahead of time era.
Can we not please don't cross over Discovery and Picard? And I was just like, oh god.
Oh, yeah. I still when me and my brother were talking about this yesterday, I started with, yeah. So obviously, what we're gonna see here is Discovery's gonna pop in with the spore drive and say, and Shane was like, "No, shut up!
Yeah, don't you put that in the goddamn universe, man? Don't you put that out there?
Don't even put that out there."
We don't
I don't
talk
know
about
where
Discovery.
this Borg is coming from. I don't know if it's the same queen we're talking about, or if it's a queen that's in their universe, or what.
Or Q just snaps his fingers and goes, "Here's a Borg queen to screw with everything."
I don't think so. It's possible that it's a queen that we captured in our weird new timeline where everything's like darker or whatever.
Yeah,
We might have captured, and we might go. Picard and his team might go rescue her and take her back in the past.
Let me ask you guys something. So, like at the end of last season, we had like the massive space tentacles from like the synthetic,
the Mass Effect
the flowers.
Yeah. So like you had the synthetic dark god that was going to cross over and destroy all organics. Do you think that this new version of the Borg has some type of connection to that?
I hope not. I hope they just completely ignore her
think
season.
so.
Yeah,
let's act like as much as scary as it is, knowing that there is this dark synthetic Cthulhu gods out there.
I had forgotten about that already.
Apparently,
I was about to say the same thing, Vader. I was like, God damn it, I'd managed to forget that.
we can summon really easily, and anybody on any planet with the right tech can be summoning these Cthulhu dark synthetic gods. That is terrifying, and I hate the fact that was even put out there in the universe canon.
It's brutal.
Because now all I can think of is at any moment someone's like, you know what? I think we should summon these guys and see what happens.
Maybe that's what's going on in Discovery with the secret, whatever they're called.
The DMA. No. The DMA is that's an actual race of beings. That's
like I said, I still haven't finished this season. So
but I hope they just completely ignore that happened, because that is almost universe breaking. That at any moment, someone can be calling these synthetic overlord Cthulhu gods to come kill everyone.
Well, can't we just get like a Kelpian to like cry at him and destroy all the synthetics in the universe?
Stop it!
Just put a Kelpian on a synthetic planet.
I'm muting you. You never should have given me power. So there you go.
He's never even done that to me. That's awesome.
I know. I've always wanted to do that. I made Kadish be quiet. It was
what sucked about it?
You're back.
When I first started watching Discovery, I was like, I sort of like this Kelpian character. That's a cool character. And
Saru.
Cool. Doug Jones is a great actor, and the character he played, he really brought this thing to life. It's awesome. But as it went on, they somehow just made this character. It was almost like they made him too important, then not important, then too important, then not important, and
take him away, bring him back. Then they're trying to give him the spotlight. I called him Mr. Saru.
I like season 1, season 2 Saru much better than season 4. He's too much of a little wise mentor, broken dude. I don't like Saru now, but he's still the most interesting character of the show.
You know what I would have liked to have seen is a series about Harry Mudd, and just like hit him kind of getting into misadventures throughout like the wider Star Trek universe. I think that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
With Rainn Wilson.
Yeah, no, I'd be on board for that for sure.
Oh, how about this? You want to talk about universe breaking, bros?
What are you gonna do?
Remember Rainn Wilson? Okay. Remember, he made a bunch of robot versions of himself. So remember they said that you can't. Data was super unique, and you can't make sense actually look like humans as well. And Doge and Soji, whatever, they're very unique too. But we have an episode of Discovery that is airing before TOS, where Rainn Wilson's character has like a dozen copies of himself, all robots, all perfectly passable as Rainn Wilson. And you're like, God damn it. I like this character, but I hate the fact that it's like it's a different universe altogether.
Well, did you ever read the countdown trade before it took place, before the J.J. Abrams first Star Trek movie? And it's about Harry Mudd. They even reference it in the movie because they say something about Mudd's ship being in the hangar or whatever. Do you guys... What? Anyway, there's this whole comic
the countdown comic book.
Yeah. I think I have it right here. Yeah, it's like this whole story of how they ended up getting Mudd's ship in their cargo bay. Do you guys not remember this?
No, I don't remember that. I remember the countdown one where Data was captain or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't read canon comic books because they're not canon.
All I know is they literally talk about they're not like they can't make synthetics look like humans, right? And
Data's daughter looked fine as hell at that pool party.
Well, yeah, so she was unique, right? They were unique that they looked so human, but like Data was a model where they couldn't make them look quite human enough or something like that. Yeah. But then there's literally a scene in Discovery that takes place before TOS where where there's a room full of Harry Mudd synthetics. It drives me nuts. I know it doesn't matter, but it matters as someone who is sitting here trying to make theory videos.
Well, also they've made canon the fact that the synthetic planet, they can grow bodies that you can then like insert people's memories into, and so like you basically have a system of immortality built into this world now.
Oh, but wait, Matt, because in Discovery recently, they grew a body for that. For that gray character, for the Trill character, and they're like, we're using technology.
They even mentioned Picard.
Yeah,
they did.
We're using technology from like 1,000 years ago. They used this on a Starfleet admiral named Picard. It never worked again after that, but we're gonna try it here. And you're like, what did you say?
You know what the best
You're
part about that was?
You're saying it worked one time for Picard, and then coincidentally, it's working one more time here. So it's only worked twice. The 2 times you need it to work on screen. Are you joking me right now?
This is the shit that I hate about Discovery.
I'm going to give it a pass because they used it to write him off the show. And I'm completely okay with that.
That is true, and I despised that character.
Oh, it's the worst Star Trek character ever.
It is the worst Star Trek character.
Kess.
All Star Trek characters that ever existed was Gray.
Worse than Kess.
Somehow Adira is even more is a better character now that Gray is gone. His whatever. How do you say a non-binary person? But
so I actually have they them.
No.
There.
If I was gonna say his girlfriend or her girlfriend, how would I say that?
Their girlfriend.
Their girlfriend. All right, say it. So
we don't care about that here. So
I'm just wondering. So whatever.
I've recently.
So somehow Adira's character, their character is better now that Gray's gone.
Yeah, their partner.
You can't do girlfriend or boyfriend.
Their partner is now that their partner is gone. They are. Oh my god, it's so stupid.
Vader's like, I'm going to mute all your mics. I'm sick of this.
It is very confusing. So I actually just went through this in my personal life. A friend of mine just came out as non-binary, and I've known them for years as a female, and now it's so the secret I've found is I just say their name instead of they them their. I just say the name. And it works. I mean, it's weird because I'll say the name like probably 10 times in a conversation or something. But
it's like I have like 40 years of conditioning, right?
I know. It's hard for us old guys. It really is.
So difficult to like switch that switch, especially when you're talking to someone in real. Like I was on a stream with someone who wanted to go by these particular pronouns, and I was being respectful, and it was like so difficult that I started to look at their Twitter handle as their name because we were in Stream Deck like this.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. They were not using their Twitter handle was not their actual name. So I didn't know their name and I kept screwing up the pronoun and their Twitter handle was completely different. And it just looked so awkward.
Well, what's crazy is in season 3 of Discovery, when Anthony Rapp's character starts referring to what's their name, Adira, or whatever, Adira. And he starts using the they them like pronoun in his dialogue. It got so confusing to hear like what he was talking
possessive
about.
Pronoun.
Yeah. And you're sitting there listening to this. Is like, wait, am I hearing this right? Like, I don't understand what he's saying.
Even the actor looked uncomfortable doing it. Like, he was having a hard time.
It was just
but you're right.
You guys are killing me right now.
Gray was the worst character in Star Trek history.
Oh yeah,
and I'm glad. they are gone.
Actually, I think Gray was not non-binary. No,
was that right? Was that right?
No, Adira is they them. Gray is just, I think.
No, Gray's
gay
non-binary too.
Oh,
Brian, he can't come back on the show anymore. You're gonna get us canceled.
Wait. Was that wrong?
No, you
No,
said
it
it
wasn't
right,
wrong.
buddy.
No, you said it correctly.
You know, hey, it's like, I know Vader and I look the oldest, you know, with the white hair on our faces, but we're all roughly the same age. It's equally hard for us all, man. It's
Okay.
The world is
All right.
changing. We're trying to be respectful. You know, it's really all it is.
How about when they wrote
see,
Tilly off?
that's the thing. I'm not trying to be respectful because I don't care. I'm just not commenting about this stuff on our little Star Trek discussion right now because
Well, it's Star Trek's fault for bringing this shit into our
Yeah, it's
entertainment.
Star Trek's fault. It's not my fault.
yeah.
Hey, what about when Tilly exited? How about that?
We're supposed to be talking about Picard.
I know.
I haven't gotten that far in Discovery yet. So
Yeah.
you guys are spoiling a lot of shit.
Yeah,
It's a great
spoilers.
episode. It's a
Spoilers.
great episode. You're gonna love the episode.
Poor
Brian,
Tilly,
You're gonna
man.
hate
Like,
the episode, but at the very last 5 minutes when she leaves, you're gonna be like, "Thank God."
yeah,
Yeah.
look,
I hate Tilly. And
Well, I
that's-
used to
that's
like
why
her.
I'm wondering if they're going to write off Girardi and Raffi,
Right, I
Because
think
they're
will.
actually they're only doing 3 seasons of Picard, and they're shooting seasons 2 and 3 back to back.
Yeah.
So basically, everyone who's working on season 2 and the storyline of season 2 is going to go right into season 3, and I'm interested to wonder if they're actually going to give the fans what they want and write off the characters that everyone hates.
I think that at least one of them will sacrifice themselves in some meaningful manner and be gone.
Yeah, I think however you say her name, my least favorite,
Girardi.
I feel like she's going to die, like in like Brian's saying. I feel like it's going to be her, just because in writing, when somebody, you know, she killed somebody, whether it was, you know, mind meld or not. So there's the weight of that guilt. So she's going to have that.
Well, she's an alcoholic now because of that guilt.
So she's going to have that complex of like that, you know, she's going to want to sacrifice herself for something. So I think that's how she's going to go.
She's also the lead science officer on the Stargazer, right?
She's very
Well,
smart.
no, is
Very
she
smart.
though? What is she on the Stargazer?
I think she's just a civilian.
I think she's a
passenger.
civilian friend of Rio.
She's wearing the Starfleet science officer uniform.
Is she? I thought she was wearing like a dress or something.
No, it was a blue uniform with the Starfleet insignia on it.
Oh, was she? Okay, so I know this. I know that she's not long for this world because her whole, either she's a really bad actor, or her whole demeanor is like, I'm just like over this. You know, let me move out of the way. Let me pull this up. Okay, all right. You know, she's like half in the back the entire episode.
Maybe she's like you know, playing drunk, you know, because she's an alcoholic now. So I don't know.
Maybe she was just at a party right before this all happened, and they beamed her back up, and she was still a little tipsy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. But she also didn't seem to care half the time she was doing stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're right. I think one of them is going to get written off, and they're probably going to go out in a way. And we see from the trailers, we see Girardi like in the red dress, like running down like Los Angeles Boulevard, Santa Monica Boulevard, or whatever. And she has some interaction with the Borg Queen, so there might be some Borg Queen shenanigans.
Did you guys notice that Raffi did not refer to Jean-Luc as JL or JP or like whatever?
Yeah, because that was very disrespectful. Because
Yeah,
It was
I
so
noticed that.
disrespectful.
Yeah. Well, I think there was also setting up because she had all that resentment for him in the first season, and now it's kind of like they've reestablished that.
Well,
Command.
even when they were friends in the flashback, she was calling him like JL or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was still terrible though.
Yeah, it was so
Terrible.
cringy.
Yeah, I love how she actually everyone refers to each other in the correct way now. It's respectful and just has a very Star Trek vibe to it. The whole episode, very Star Trek.
Yeah.
So Brian, do you have any theories about what we're going to be seeing this season on the show?
Yeah, I will express my theory here. But if you want to actually see it in video form, I made a 15 or 17 minute theory about what I think is going to happen on my channel.
Oh
You
shit!
guys go check it out.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
This is what I think will happen. I do not think that Q is responsible for the time shenanigans, for the shift in the timeline or whatever. I do not think so. I think that they blame Q for it, but I think it was something else. I don't know what. I don't know if it was the Borg or some other bad actors. We do see in this scene these Romulans sort of mind melding with a young child. in one of the flashbacks or whatever it was. It could have something to do with that. We don't know exactly who is responsible, but I think Q is a straw man. I think Q is using this as sort of a sideways way of helping Picard, but also testing him. The way Q is, that's the way Q is. So Q being Q. I think the Borg play into this, but not as the antagonist, but more like I think the Borg will end up being in some way helpful. I think they came out of that pocket dimension or whatever they were in, when they sensed the change coming, in order to help Picard and the Federation get the time back. It's probably we need the time to be back in the right place, just like you do. So friends out of convenience kind of a thing. I think the Borg Queen's going to help because it's convenient. It's good for her and them, not just for.
So, knowing that the Q is the whole reason humans even ran into the Borg way sooner than they should have.
That's true.
You don't think, you don't think this is more like Q shenanigans with the Borg, like, type of thing?
No, because the reason why the Q introduced us to the Borg early was to help us. Everything Q's ever done, every single thing he's ever done in some weird roundabout way with his logic was to help humanity.
Yeah.
When he
really does have this. He loves Picard. I don't care what anybody says. Like,
he loves Picard. He loves him like you would love a pet.
Yeah.
And when Q introduced us to humanity, to the Borg, the purpose of that was that we would be prepared for when the Borg came, and that's what it did. Everything he's ever done was in some way helping humanity. So I don't see why they would change that now and he will become the antagonist. It wouldn't make any sense. It makes more sense that Q is seen as the antagonist, like he usually is, but ends up being in some way helpful. And he continuing the test. The trial the trial never ends.
Yes.
Right, but it's still his roundabout way of helping Picard.
No, I completely agree with that. Yeah, I think.
So I don't think the Borg. I think Q is a straw man right now. I think the Borg are going to be actually allies, and I don't think that we've actually seen who the true antagonist of this series is yet.
Okay.
I think.
Or here's a wild theory. It's Guinan.
Well, she hates Q a lot.
Oh man.
That's right. Yeah. It's like, what was that, by the way? Like, they never pay that.
No, I can tell you what that was. She was shooting. So when she did that scene, she was shooting another popular, famous movie she did. I think it was called
Sister Act,
The Color Purple. There's an episode. There was a scene from The Color Purple where her character does the same thing to the bad guy's car, and it's funny how she uses the same exact motion in that episode with Q. So
does that imply that Guinan's got some like magical powers, or
I don't know if it's supposed to or what, but in The Color Purple, she does the same thing.
It's her race's. It's her race's gesture, kind of like the middle finger, but it's like that they're flipping you off.
Is that headcanon or is that real? Did you
That's
make that
headcanon.
up?
Okay. But if you look at that movie, The Color Purple, her character does the same thing in The Color Purple, the same exact gesture.
No.
So we don't know why.
It's like, hey, fuck you, Q.
Yeah, you suck, Q. Or maybe she has powers. No one knows, man. I made a whole video about that too. The Elorians are it's a race of people that very, very few brain cells have been spent creating that race. They talk about them. They live long. They live like 1,000 years, but there's not very many of them left. They're these super advanced, long-living creatures. Somehow that was taken over by the Borg, like pretty much instantaneously.
Yeah, and isn't there like technically two Guinans because of the Nexus? Like,
right, but that's like a that's like an echo. So the Guinan that's in the Nexus is an echo, which means
the Nexus Guinan's still skinny and young. So.
Is everyone that's ever been in the Nexus? Is there an echo in the Nexus of everyone's ever been there? So that means they're Picard, Captain Kirk.
Okay.
Sora, whatever his name was, Serene.
Zoran.
Sauron.
Sauron, yeah.
I don't know. But there was an echo in there. Yeah.
The Nexus. You guys are killing me right now.
Or maybe our Lorians are just long-lived regular people, but she has powers because of the Nexus.
Vader, what's wrong with talking about the Nexus, man?
That movie was not good, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
Generations is garbage.
It is. No, they killed Captain Kirk twice. Like that was like twice, not once, twice. I was like,
Yeah, it was like they wanted to make sure. Look, guys,
he's really dead.
He's dead. And if you didn't see it the first time, we're gonna do it again. Although a great way to send out the captain, I would say.
Yeah.
Let's have this really long, drawn out death scene for the Enterprise. That was just I hated it.
That scene was very long.
Yeah. But man, we've been going like almost 2 hours. That's longer than
is it, like it's like I've noticed a lot of people in the chat saying it's like it's so refreshing and awesome to enjoy talking about Star Trek again.
It's nice to have just a fun Star Trek talk.
Yeah, as long as you ignore Picard season 1.
Exactly. Yeah.
Otherwise, you get muted.
Yeah.
This is the kind of show and conversation in chat that makes me a little bit hopeful that the franchise isn't completely dead to everybody yet. So and it's given me a little bit of hope for the new Enterprise show. Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
That's coming out in a couple months. So we'll see.
Are we going to be talking about episode 2 next Saturday?
Yeah, we can talk about episode 2. We'll just bring the same group back together next week.
And right on.
We'll do it. We'll just do a weekly breakdown of the show. How's that sound?
Listen, if
I love it.
If it ends up being bad, I want there to be like a super cut of us being excited about it.
Our faces. Oh.
Yeah.
And then when episode 2 comes out, we're like,
they want us to break. We're all watching Discovery too. We'll probably talk about Discovery some as this season ends as well. So yeah, we're doing a Star Trek show for a few months, guys. So
cool. I guess I gotta go back and watch those. What you said, I have like 2 episodes left, Brian, of Discovery.
But there's 2 episodes left. They haven't come out yet.
So
they haven't. Okay.
I need you to like make graphics, Star Trek, Salty Nerd, Star Trek graphics, and get the stream all trekked up for us, okay? But we'll have like badges and everything.
This is why he's called the frustrated producer. Did you hear that? He's like,
hey, So, Strange New World comes out in May.
Oh, nice background. Got the L cars going on.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
Strange New World comes out in May, so it's a couple months from now.
Yeah.
Well, they set it up to where we'll have Discovery, Picard, and Strange New Worlds.
New Worlds. So
like a 5-month block and nothing but Star Trek on Paramount Plus, and so
sweet.
Yeah.
And
all right.
We're going to be covering the Halo show on the actual main Salty Nerd show, which is another Paramount Plus thing.
I'll be watching that.
Paramount Plus is kind of killing it right now, man.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what service is really killing it? And I sound like a show right now, but Peacock is.
Oh, really?
It's $6
for
the streaming service that has like 80% of all television ever made. You guys, it's $6, and there is more content on there than any other. I have every streaming service.
Isn't Peacock? Aren't they airing that Carol Baskin versus Joe Exotic show?
Yes.
I really want to watch that. That looks.
And that's on Peacock. Also, SNL
is
just moved from Hulu to Peacock.
Oh, did they? Well, the only reason Peacock is on my radar at all, and I'm about to get a bunch of shit for this, is because that's where the WWE network is housed now. So
that's where WWE. Cool. But they also have The Office. They also have the Psych. They're making Psych movies, like the TV show Psych.
Oh God, I love Psych. Psych.
Did you know that they're making new movies that are airing on Peacock?
I did not know this.
Yeah. Guys, there are 3 movies right now on Peacock.
They also got the Saved by the Bell.
What's that?
Saved by the Bell. Yeah.
Right. I'm telling you, for $6 a month, you get all this content. When I saw that they were doing Psych, I was losing. I was like, well, how is this not being advertised?
They have the Dan Brown original series, the Lost Symbol from.
Oh my God, I have that book right there. I love Dan Brown.
They made an original series of it, and there's also a great original series on Peacock called Brave New World, based off of the book. Mm-hmm. I watched that. It's got young Han Solo in it, Aaron Eckelwright or whatever his name is. But it was actually pretty good original series.
Thank you.
Yeah, Peacock's got some good stuff on it.
I guess Yellowstone. If you like Yellowstone, my wife would really.
Yeah, Yellowstone's on there.
Yellowstone. I thought that was a
It is,
Paramount.
but
So-
Paramount sold the rights to.
Yeah, that's why
that
we
was
have
stupid.
1883. 1883's all of his stuff is going to be on Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
except
well,
for
they made
Yellowstone.
1883 when they figured out how popular Yellowstone was. They're like, oh, damn it, we made a mistake. But we
You
own
put
the
Kevin
IP.
Costner in a Western is a lot.
Let's make 1883.
Oh,
Yeah, you got Sam Elliott. You know,
Yeah.
hey, I'm Sam Elliott.
Have you guys watched that yet? Are you good with 1883? Everybody watch it?
Yeah,
I haven't
watched
seen
me
it at all.
some 1883.
maybe,
Those coyotes coming out the bend.
maybe we'll talk about that
I
someday.
can't do Sam Elliott properly.
I didn't like 1883.
It's all right.
By the time it was over, I did not like it. So
Yeah.
but, yeah,
It's all
anyway.
right. I love
Anyway.
Sam Elliott, but
Yeah.
So I just don't so Brian, you got like an affiliate link. You just like shilled and gave us an ad to buy Peacock. He almost convinced me to do it. So it's
no,
like-
and my brother keeps saying the same thing. I was like, what do you work for Peacock? I'm like, no, I don't. I'm just like blown away. I have every single streaming service. Okay.
Yeah.
I waste a ton of money every month on streaming services. And I find myself constantly booting up the cheapest service I have, which is Peacock. I find myself constantly going to Peacock to watch TV of some nature and realizing that it's the cheapest one I have.
You know what has a lot of good stuff that's not getting a lot of attention right now is Apple TV as well, and that's pretty cheap. That's like $6 a month or something.
Yes,
like that.
Apple TV is
I
good
think
too.
they're $9.99 now.
Something
Yeah,
like
they're
that.
$10
But
a month now.
Jude and I just started watching the After Party, which is from Lord and Miller, the guys behind Into the Spider-Verse and the 21 Jump Street movies. And there's another great show that Ben Stiller's doing on there called Severance, which is really trippy as well. So there's good stuff there if you want to look for it.
See, the funny thing is with me, I mean, I know we've completely diverted from Star Trek now, but that's okay because it's a long show. Network television is garbage. There's nothing good to watch on network television anymore. All the good stuff, all the original content that they're making is now on the streaming services.
Well, it's because the bar is so much.
Yeah,
I think
I mean,
Paige
it's
was
like-
even talking about this. You know,
Network television is nothing but cooking shows and reality TV crap.
cheap
It's
shit
awful.
that they can sell advertising on.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they take the bigger risks with the streaming services.
Are you
Wasn't
guys looking? Are you guys looking forward to Moon Knight?
Yeah, I'll watch Moon Knight. Whatever.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
I'm not like looking forward to it, but I'll watch it.
Is it weird that I'm not looking forward to I'm not really looking forward to anything Marvel. I'm just sort of like, I'll watch it. I can't, I'm definitely gonna watch it, but I'm not looking forward to anything Marvel.
I kind of feel about that just like I kind of feel about Morbius, the Morbius movie coming out.
Yeah, same
It's
thing.
like-
And
it's
so
like-
for me, Star
I'm-
Wars too. I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not looking forward to it.
It's like I expect Morbius. I'm gonna have no expectations, and I feel like I'll probably like it, but I don't really care if I don't. You know what I mean?
Did you guys
I
hear
feel the same way.
HBO Max is doing a original series based off of the Arkham Asylum from the Batman movie? You're gonna have like an Arkham Asylum series.
Nice.
Oh,
Dude,
that's cool.
I was supposed to be.
I love Peacemaker so much. You guys.
Oh yeah, Peacemaker's good. I was supposed to be on this other podcast this morning talking about the Batman, but I decided to stay with the my first love and talk about Star Trek. But that and none of them liked the Batman, and I fucking loved it. Like besides Kadish, have you guys seen it yet?
I'm going Monday. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna review it on
Brian,
the
have you
podcast.
seen it?
Yeah, I'm going Monday too. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It was the most like.
I know a lot of people like it.
The fact that you said they're making a series.
Well, HBO seems to be doing this thing where they're taking their major releases like Dune and the Batman and stuff like that, and the Suicide Squad, and they're spinning off TV shows.
Awesome.
Of them.
Awesome.
Yeah,
great idea. Great.
Yeah,
it is.
because-
Penguin's supposed to be in that, right?
Dune is getting an original series based off of the Kwisatz Haderach.
Oh my god, I had no idea.
Like yeah, so,
That's awesome. Peacemaker
good.
was one of those gems for me that
Peacemaker was great.
I went in watching it. And I expected it to be just okay fun, and it ended up being a blast.
Yeah,
it was so well done.
Our listeners tell us that our review of the finale episode of Peacemaker is one of our funniest episodes.
Oh, dude,
Really?
yeah. No, I was in tears laughing. I think I even told you guys that. Yeah,
I gotta watch that.
Oh yeah,
maybe I did already. I watched an episode of yours where you explained the very last scene
Yeah,
where
that-
it's
that
like
was
this
the-
libertarian peacemaker
Mhm.
sitting.
Yeah,
next
that was
to-
that episode. Yeah.
Okay, that was genius, and it was so right. The imagery is so intense. You have
Mhm.
this hardcore libertarian with a giant American flag behind him, a bald eagle representing the United States in front of him, and sitting next to alt left and alt right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in between them all is the carcass of a dead animal.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was
The symbolism.
perfect. Talk
Yeah.
about perfect symbolism. Perfect way to wrap that show. And the entire episode, the entire finale was so good. There was a moment where I was actually worried. I was worried that they were going to go like this weird, like woke place where he's like, "Help us save the planet, Peacemaker. That's your job." And I'm like, "No, don't do it. Don't do it, John."
No, I was so glad. Yeah, when he was like, "Nah."
He's like, "You know what? No,
Yeah.
activate human torpedo." I'm like,
Well,
"Yes."
Peacemaker is getting a season 2, and James Gunn's doing another spin-off series in the DC universe that hasn't been announced yet, but
Awesome.
he's working on that. So we're going to get 2 James Gunn DC series pretty soon. I think that they should just
Nice.
give the entire DC franchise to James Gunn, let him
Yes.
kind of be the Kevin Feige for it.
This is
Right?
how much
Wow.
my brother and I like Peacemaker, is that we're actually going to be making a Peacemaker video. For the first time, we're going to be making a non-science fiction video for our main channel.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Peacemaker was one of those surprise shows for me. I had no expectations going into it. But from the get-go, it kind of like hooked me, and I was really happy.
See, I
to
was
just watch
a
it.
little different. It took me like episode 3 is what got me. Like I wasn't completely on board until episode 3, and then I was completely like down for everything.
John Cena's ad-libbing, like just
Mm-hmm.
the outtakes of him just going off script, amazing. Like guy's amazing. Like never broke character, just like went completely off book. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey-
I fell in love with Diebeard. And
Oh yeah,
I didn't like that character
Kind of
at
was,
all. And then
yeah.
it slowly dragged me into loving that character.
You know what's funny is the synthetic guy that shows up at the end of Star Trek Picard, where he's like he was part of the Mars people, and I forget
yeah.
they call him
Well,
like Harvey. He
same
looked like the actor who played Vigilante, and I went on IMDb. It's not the same actor, but he looked just like him.
I didn't get that, but okay.
That
I
was
get
the
it.
one that was like, the solar shields are holding nicely today. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's when you're like, that's when I realized when they said solar shields, I'm like, oh God. In this dystopian future, the climate is so out of control. We have to have solar shields. And my thing was like, my brother was like, look, I can totally see, climate being an issue. I'm like, I get it. But if it's not an issue in the regular future, why is it all of a sudden an issue in this future? I don't.
Yeah.
It's because they really want to sort of like virtue signal, and I get it.
A little
And
bit.
I'm okay if
yeah.
it's just throwaway lines like that. But don't, as long as you don't preach an entire episode to me, I can get past it.
Yep. Hey guys, I'm hungry. I need to go get some lunch. Let's wrap this up. We've been going a long time. So, any last words? Anybody want to got something they want to pop out there? Brian?
I'm excited for next week.
Same.
Excited for both
right.
the
Yeah, me
episode
too.
and then this show. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Totally.
3-day block of
All right.
fun for me.
Check out the Popcast guys, everybody. It's a really cool channel over there. And also mixtees.com. Right, Brian? Mixtees.
Yeah, buddy.
And buy some t-shirts. You can find Salty Nerd stuff over there as well.
Specifically salty
Store.
nerd t-shirts.
Yes. So check it out. Danny, you got anything you want to say?
Nah. I'll be pushing some stuff probably next week. I got to
You want
finish
to
the
give a
website.
shout out to your charity?
Well, that's what okay, sure. I am I'm the marketing director now for the Las Vegas Cosplayers Alliance. So it's cosplayersalliance.org. Right now it's just a donation page. I'm going to finish the website hopefully by the time you guys see me on here again. But it's a very worthwhile charity. We visit children in medical facilities, homeless shelters, grief counseling centers, school, basically anywhere kids in need are, and they do it dressed up as all the fandoms. So it's not just like comic book characters or superheroes. I got to send Brian this video. I did a really awesome Mankind thing where they let me into a wrestling ring and cut a promo, and that dude made me look like $1 million because it looked like I slammed him. So it was awesome. And I also do Captain Kirk, and they have they do it all, man. They do like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Harry Potter, whatever the facility calls for. Like, they talk to the kids, try to find out what their favorite characters are, and then they call us up. And
can I dress up as Godzilla?
I mean, as long as it's kid friendly.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for So the Las Vegas Cosplayers Alliance, cosplayersalliance.org. Check them out. Worthwhile cause.
All right, Matt, take us home.
All right, so we've got our first episode of Eureka dropping on Monday, where we sat down and covered the pilot episode of this great sci-fi series called Eureka.
Amazing.
On Wednesday, we're going to be dropping our review of The Batman. So we're watching it this weekend, and then we're going to talk about it on Tuesday and drop our episode on Wednesday. And then this coming week is teen road comedies. So on the main Salty Nerd Show, we're going to be discussing Road Trip, Euro Trip, and Sex Drive. And it's going to be a fun one. I don't believe Matt Vader is going to be there for us, but we got we got Conspiracy Tom sitting in the Vader chair.
I'll be there for the two shorter shows, and then Tom's going to take my seat. So
Sex Drive is the one that has the Amish people, right?
I don't know. I haven't watched it.
Oh, when you watch it, there's a scene with Seth Green, and he's playing an Amish guy, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. So we got that going on, and it should be a good week.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to watch your guys' take on the Batman. I as you can see, I loved it. So I would have bought the damn shirt if they'd have had one. I got the nice cup in the tin for the popcorn. It was it was such a good movie. I really enjoyed it. So
all right.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch Eureka. Eureka is one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, Eureka's great. No one talks about it.
No one does.
Well, it's sci-fi original from like a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Like
in fact, we were just on David Hewlett's Tech Bandit stream talking about podcasting, and when we finished with that, we were kind of chit-chatting with him, and we're trying to get him and Joe Flanagan to come on together and just kind of like reminisce about the Stargate Atlantis days, because we're going to be doing Stargate Atlantis after we're done with Eureka. So it could be fun to do something like that. And Hewlett actually knows Colin Ferguson, who played the sheriff in Eureka. So he was like, I'll see if I can dig up his email for you guys. And get him on.
It's all about relationships, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, we'll be here next Saturday morning at 10 a.m., same time as this show, for more Salty Saturday Star Trek talk. I guess we're going to go with that for a little while.
Yeah.
Make sure and hit the sub button and the thumbs up button. And I think we're going to wrap it up. Guys, thanks for coming out today. I appreciate you all.
Thanks. Hey, this was great.
All right, guys. I'm going to hit the end broadcast button.
Mahalo.
And we will get out of here. See you
guys.
And stay salty, everybody. Is that how you do it? Stay salty, my friends.
Stay salty, my friends.
All right. We're going.